I guess I'll go ahead and crack this motherfucker open.
Let's go.
Cool.
Cool.
Let's do
So,
it.
for recording purposes, cut all the shit behind here. I'm William Nagy. I haven't done it yet, but at this point, I will have recorded the Meet the Crew, the Creator video where I've broken down what the pilot is and talked about the who, what, when, where, whys, and all of that other shit. So, for the purposes of not being redundant, I'll not do that here. I am doing the Meet the Crew, the producers. We have the amazing Ashley Stinger and fantastic Kyle Boynton. Boynton. I never said that.
Boynton.
Boynton. Okay.
It's Boyne. Yeah.
I've never said that, and I've never realized I've never pronounced your last name before.
I just love
Well,
seeing that in your eyes. Just realizing.
you, yeah. I mean, you crushed it in the first time. Not a lot of people do. I think some people overthink it, and it's just you just say it right on through.
Dope. Alrighty. So for the agenda of this, I will do the introductions, have everyone talk about their skills, their background, specialty, expertise, all the other synonyms for that. I will break down the pitch and marketing aspect to where we know sort of the vibe we're going for. I'll give like the about me section of my pitch, or the very first roughest draft of the about me section. That will be a lot cleaner in the Meet the Creator video. So apologies for the audience for having to listen to a worse version of everything. Same thing with the log line. If we have time, we can sort of bounce the log line around and see if we can get a great one in. Then I will break down the locations in the script. Then I'll discuss some of the other teams on this, just so that we're all up to date with how I've sort of broken things up with sort of the pre-production responsibilities. And then I'll answer any questions you guys might have about it. For the audience purposes, I have told very, very little about anything to anyone. So this is pretty much so a first reaction from everybody. So yeah, without further ado, I will let Ashley go first. Ashley, tell us a little bit about yourself. What brings you here?
Okay, so my name is Ashley Stenger. I am a recent graduate of Olympic College, class of 2024 of digital filmmaking. I have been a filmmaker since about 2021 so far, primarily student film based at first, but I have joined Film Vandals. I would say it was, I think, December of 2022. I'm pretty versatile. I can fit in almost anywhere in terms of department, but my specialty currently is in producing. I am, uh, as mentioned by other people, I'm really good with paperwork. I am good with organization and kind of bringing people on board where I feel like they can fit. I know a lot of people who can help in a lot of weird places. So able to bring people together is really easy. And I've worked with Will and Kyle a ton, so it has been really great.
Yeah, you are incredibly organized, and I'm always amazed by it because I am fucking not in any way, shape, or form. Yeah, Kyle.
I can attest. Yeah, I can attest to Ashley's organizational skills. They are awesome to have. As somebody who is all over the place all this time. So, hi, my name's Kyle Boynton. I've been a filmmaker since I would probably say 2005, just because in high school, that's when I really started getting into writing and directing and producing and acting. I did a lot of theater too for about 10 years and just kind of balanced time between stage and screen stuff. I have a bachelor's of arts in film production from Central Washington University. I graduated in 2010, and since then I've been one of the co-founders and lead producer of the team Film Vandals. We've mostly been doing the 48 Hour Film Project for going on 13 years or 12 years, 12, 13 years now, which is wild. But yeah, in that, really just, leaning into the producing side of things. I know a lot of just all aspects of production, but I like to be on the producing team just because I find that to be the most fun and fulfilling of just bringing everybody together, meeting new people, and really trying to figure out how to build the best team possible so that whatever we make is the best product possible. And yeah, just really excited to be on board for this. It's just working with people that I know and hopefully meeting some new people along the way to just make more cool stuff in the future.
Dope.
You are
Yeah.
so brilliant, Kyle.
Yeah.
I've learned most of what I know from you, so it's been very helpful.
Well, thank you. That's nice to hear. I sometimes I feel like I don't know what I'm doing, but I feel like I have enough people around me that are like, no, no, you know what you're doing.
Yes.
So that's good.
Yes.
That's very validating.
Yeah. That is the perks of my position in all of this, is because I don't have to fucking know a thing. I just have to know people who know all of the things. So
Yes.
it works super easy for me. But yeah, so I'll give you guys a little rundown of what I'm working with here. As I've told you, I'm doing a pilot. I'm attempting to bootstrap or get a bunch of people together to collaborate on making this pilot based off of, as I mentioned in the other video, the night that I went on a self-spiraling binger and got mugged and came up with this like Shameless meets How I Met Your Mother type script, which that alone has had a bunch of people being like, oh shit, I'd watch that just from the comps. The working title right now is The Come Down. Definitely need to figure out something that is more consistent than just a guy coming off of Molly as a title. It's a darker comedy, 30-minute serial. I'm trying to get it down to 24 to 26 pages just in case I can do like a basic cable network. But also giving it that leeway of potentially a full 30 for premium. So here's what I've got so far as the roughest draft of the pitch document. As a guy who is not only a nurse at 18, but was diagnosed bipolar at 4, I've lived what some may call a diverse life. I've been an amateur cage fighter, a CrossFit athlete, homeless, an international vagabond, a voice actor, and a writer. Now, don't get me wrong, I've always been a huge fan of sitcoms with that strong romantic tension, like the How I Met Your Mother's, Community, Scrub, but they're so damn unrealistic. Where's the grittiness, the paranoias, insecurities, the second guessing? Where's the fuck ups and the misfits? They're in Seattle. One particular planned night out with a friend, I received a photo of him meeting someone he knew I was emotionally gearing up to talk to, and then stuff happened in their life and they ghosted me in the evening. Now, obviously, that fucked with my bipolar brain. So much so that in the first time in a decade, I went on a full fucking binger. Club hopping with no success, drinking, getting high, going to strip clubs where I found solace in someone that asked me the same question 16 times, ultimately leading me to getting robbed in an alley and questioning what the fuck I was doing with my life. The story has a happy ending, at least. I wound up losing 40 pounds and coming to you fine people to present the outcome of that night. The pilot for The Come Down. When a listless nurse's perfect but empty life crumbles, he forms an unexpected bond with an aspiring filmmaker moonlighting as a stripper as they navigate the complexities of modern dating and personal ambitions in the rainy city. That's what I've got going so far as my connection to it and the log line. It's sort of the will they won't they tension, and then as I described, the guy is sort of this gets in his own way a lot. He's the guy who tried to do everything right versus the girl who's trying to do everything she can. Sort of different dynamics and the different styles of lives coming together and bonding in these weird fucking events. Does that pretty much so give you guys like a feel for what I'm going for there?
Yeah.
Yeah, 100% it does. I also feel like what I really like about it is just how I think you have two really strong comps that really work together in just like grabbing the attention right away of just like I want to know more and I want to just see all of that right away. And so that's definitely just a really exciting part about this is that those are two shows that I really like. And so right away I'm like, oh, I want to see how this plays out. I'm very excited about it. So great I think great setup.
Nice.
I'm very excited to kind of work in that sort of space because like the way that it's pitched, it feels very like naturalistic and very gritty in tone, which I feel like I always love seeing sitcoms that are more refreshing like that or seeing shows that have more of a realistic tone to them. I know I've brought up recently like HBO's like Girls or Sex Lives of College Girls. It has I know it's not a one-to-one, but it feels somewhat similar in tones to that, and shows like that really intrigue me, just kind of seeing the drama. And I'm a huge fan of sitcoms. How I Met Your Mother is one of my favorites, so I'm very intrigued to see how everything kind of ties together and kind of meshes the tone. I feel like I'm very excited to see it and work on it.
I think it hits on a really important cultural thing right now, which is like I think I think in general we're all so exposed to like the realness of the world on a daily basis because of social media. So I think when it comes to television shows, while it's nice to have like a refreshing break, I think sometimes we want there to be the realness of the world sprinkled into it. So I think that's what's so fun about the combination of like a cool sitcom like How I Met Your Mother, which is just like pure sitcom joy with the realness of something like Shameless that just shows the the true side of humanity. And so I think meshing those two together is just also really exciting.
Yeah. Yeah, I got really lucky. One of the guys that I met for the last production that we did, I specifically am a wound care nurse, but the protagonist, Ben, is an emergency room nurse. And the greatest thing about that is the guy who let us use his slide, who is like special effects, is his primary want, is a fucking emergency room nurse. So he agreed to like consult with me on certain things and make props for the emergency room, which is fantastic because I have this idea of a scene of this guy and it's like, hey, what should I do with this? There's like completely absurd shit that are true hospital stories that people just never realize are a thing. Uh, like people ripping out their catheters. Anywho, enough hospital stories. There'll be enough of those in the story. So I haven't gotten you guys a script yet. I'm working on locking that. I will probably, well, not locking, but I'll probably get the second version done in the next couple days and send that out to who I'm calling the Big Four, which the video in between the Meet the Creator and this one will be the Big Four. Not recorded yet, so hopefully there's not a whole bunch of like whiplash or changes between that and this. But I'll get those to you guys. I can break down already the locations that are in there because those are pretty much so locked. And we can start bouncing around ideas for budget and what we're going for with that. So right now, location-wise, there is an emergency room place in Seattle that Ryan told me about where you can, it's like a hospital room. They have LED projections on the walls to where you can like sort of set up what you want with it. And that's fucking perfect for this. He told me the rental, I think he was like $100 an hour or something like that, which isn't bad for what you're getting at all.
No.
I think I know what he's talking about. Yeah, that's I think it's $100 an hour for the hospital set.
Nice.
Yeah.
Is it just the room or do they have like a nurse's desk area too?
I'm not sure. I know it's a hospital room, and I know of another place that's going to be building a more like formal hospital situation that we can talk about at another time when I have more information. It's probably more accurate.
No. If not, if it's not done by late September, oh yeah, so our filming dates, the 21st to the 29th of September, because after everybody was like, oh yeah, we'll probably have some time in September to work on it, I realized I somehow had a week off that I forgot that I put in for, so fucking serendipity. But yeah, aside from that room, if we don't have a pre-built nurse's desk type situation, it'd be really fucking easy to bootstrap that. You just need a desk and computers and maybe like just a door with like a glass pane window to pretend that it's a patient room connected to the emergency room or the hospital room thing that we're doing.
Out of all the props that I've like seen made for like films and like for short films, like even locally, a nurse's desk is not one of the harder ones. So I feel like
no, it'd be super easy, which is good because I don't think the hospital would be keen on me breaking into film there. 2 apartments. So we need Ben's upper middle class apartment. And we need one sort of lower class room share type thing. There's a bunch of fucking like artsy houses in Seattle with 3 to 4 bedrooms shared by I called it creative dirty which I think pretty much so hits the vibe visually. Another location is a nice strip club with VIP rooms.
I definitely have to do research on that one. I don't have personal experience.
Funny, I feel like with strip club, there's definitely, I don't think we need to use an actual strip club. There might be some other venues that we could just make look like a strip club. I feel like that's going to be that's a fun challenge for us, Ashley. It's to find a strip club to film in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
feel
I
like
think we're both up for it.
Yeah, oh yeah, let's go.
I feel like that will probably be easier. I can't help but think that trying to ask a strip club manager if we could film during their off hours is probably going to wind up with us either being raked over the coals financially or just being flat out shot down.
The
Yeah. You never know though.
Yeah.
the also thing that I'm like listening for like with these locations so far, thinking even in the future of like when we do more episodes, we want to make sure when we secure locations like the apartments that we'll be able to use them for future episodes. Because I'm assuming stuff like Ben's apartment are going to be seen in more than just the pilot. So we're going to want to make sure to have a good relationship with that location so we can go back for continuity.
Yeah. Which would be fantastic. If worst case scenario, they can't guarantee continuity, on the back end in the writer's room, we'll fucking come up with some shit.
Yeah.
That'll be a nice challenge for me. Yeah. So there's one scene that's an either or. It would be great to secure both for potential further episodes. There's a cafe which I can definitely talk to the people who own the one that I'm going to do my writing. I won't name drop them. I can send it in Discord later because God fucking forbid anyone sees this and then shows up. But they have like a fucking fantastic terrace and just great vibe that I think would be really cool for the scene I have in mind that has super manic energy and just like this peaceful Zen garden area. And then a bar. And I think we all know of a particular bar that would probably work with us with shooting during their closed hours. Again, won't name drop it. A club or visually adjacent club where people could be dancing and that has like multiple urinals in a row for a particular scene.
Okay.
And one that would be okay with us buying and replacing a towel dispenser. And then the last one is a parking garage that's lit enough for camera shots. It doesn't have to be pretty and it doesn't have to be like full visuals. The shot itself is a darker tone set at night. So basically just anything that's enough for us to see what's happening.
Gotcha.
With
Was
location.
sorry, for clarification, was the cafe and the bar the either or?
Yeah, it's an either or for the pilot.
Yeah.
We can work on securing both for things down the road. And if there's any like question or they want to talk to me for any reason, I can talk to them about my loose talks with networks. And if they're curious about potential future things, I can talk with them about guarantees of if things get picked up or if we get significant funding, what we can do in the background or have further opportunities for them. And also 100% can advertise the locations if they're okay tonally with being tied to that. I want to thank Ashley again for putting a document together of all of the grants and funding. It sort of helps me set goals with sourcing money to qualify for certain areas of Washington support.
Yes.
So I will be taking those into account when I look at setting up.
And I definitely have more that I need to add to that. So
yeah,
there will be more.
Dope. But I'll use those for setting up budget. So with the budget, obviously planning for contingency, lowest budget possible, and how we can get things done with that. I will also look at tiers for improvement. One of the things that I am hoping for with what I'm calling fully funded is using market rates to compensate all the fucking people that are willing to volunteer their time to make this happen. Because as much as I love everybody and as much as I want this to be successful, everybody's fucking professionals and I want them to be compensated for the time that they're donating. It fucking kicks me right in the groin how much people are just like, yeah, fuck yeah, I'd be a part of that. Now I'm tearing up because I have already given away all my man cards.
Question regarding that. Do you foresee using SAG actors at all, or are you trying to go completely non-union with that?
I'm trying to go non-union specifically for if there is the problem with getting that funded mark.
Got it.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I
Yeah.
know that there are some. I haven't worked. I've gone down the path of almost having somebody that was SAG on our 48 team in the past, and I'm a little versed in that, a way to do it as like a super low budget project, of how the guild would still support that and let that actor be a part of that production. So that's something for further conversations, but good to know that you want to stick kind of away from that.
Yeah. I would love to stick away from that for now. However, I am taking SAG rates into consideration when I'm looking at doing fully funded, just because that's what we have as far as market rates for those type of professionals, and also, director rates and extras and everything
Yeah.
like that.
And wouldn't it be cool if we got to the point where we were one of those productions and everybody got to join a guild?
Fuck.
Nice.
Oh no, shit already got too real for me 2 weeks ago. That goal is a lot. Oh,
Yeah, no, I know.
That's my goal now after since I've just graduated. I'm like, okay, now working towards getting part of the union.
Yeah, yeah.
but yeah, so as far as I'm looking at with crew, you guys are the ones who know most of the skilled people. When we get to what we need, I will leave that up to you guys. There is the visual leads that I am going to eventually hear back on, probably after I get the script to the other people in the Big Four and let them decide on visually who they think would work best. Because what I'm doing is mostly EP writing, and then I'm going to try and audition for roles and recuse myself from the judging panel for that. So the way that I'm doing cast is I'm taking director, Susanna, who I'm pushing to be showrunner, Caitlin, who's editor, Brian Howell, who is the story and script consultant, and myself. I think I counted right. And we're going to judge at first self tapes, and then we'll bring in people from self tapes to do a live, and then from that we'll consider pairings and then bring them in for camera tests. I feel like that's probably going to be the most conducive way to look at the current market, and then also who will probably work best in that situation. It's going to be a lot for us to pin through. Brian probably won't be in the in-person because he's busy and has a family, the fucking nerd.
Very excited to see the eventual cast.
Yeah, God. I already have a few
How
people
big
in
is
mind.
how big is the initial the series regulars?
So the regulars that I have right now are 4, 2 being more recurrent, but probably in more than others. So we'll just say the leads for 2 for the regulars. For recurrence, there are 2, 4, 5. 5 recurrence, 7 who will probably be in between recurrent and not recurrent. And then I think right now I have 6 or 7 who are doing stuff in scenes that aren't just background actors. Like there's a scene with waxers and there's 2 of them.
Got it. Cool.
So not a huge cast, but it definitely feels like a full world.
Mm-hmm. Well, and even the locations you have don't seem, I don't know, I'm not really that intimidated by them. Like it
Yeah.
just seems it's pretty doable as long as we find something. And to Ashley's point of making sure for continuity that we have good relationships with them, so that we can go back to them in the future. But yeah, I feel like what you have is very producible
Yeah.
without even reading the script.
I tried to keep that in mind with this, as far as like
Yeah.
what's something that feels real without going too extreme. I did have a lot of
Mm.
concerns about the hospital room for a while. Like I'd written that scene probably 2 or 3 days before meeting Ryan, and that entire time I was like, "Fuck, how am I gonna make that work?" And then he was like, "Oh no, shit, there's this
Yeah.
place," and that wound up
Yeah.
being probably the easiest of all the locations, which is
Yeah.
fucking great. But yeah, I think that covers everything to get the ball rolling with stuff. Do you guys have any questions as far as anything that you think that you need right now, or
I feel like I know that I'll probably have more questions on like specifics when I see the script itself, like on the concept of like, because from what I can tell a little bit from the log line, it sounds like there'll be a stunt potentially in the parking garage, and just, but I'm not positive. But just kind of having clear of like everything that's going on, that in case like there's any roles that aren't with that sets don't always have, like say if there's something like if there's like an action scene, if you need a stunt coordinator, or if you
oh,
do something really specific with food, you might need a food stylist. Like once I get the script, I'll be able to know about those niche positions that we might need to look into. But for right now, everything looks pretty straightforward right now.
there's one might need a coordinator, but maybe not, depending. Uh,
Um, with the show being about modern dating, one of the more not as much now, but one of the more niche positions, intimacy coordinator might be
yeah,
really helpful to have on
which
set.
will definitely need that since it
Yes,
involves a strip club scene.
yes.
Yeah, yeah, definitely that, and then probably maybe a choreographer for that,
Yeah.
depending
Yeah.
on who we get, and then how I guess how involved that scene is. So yeah, I'm probably gonna have more questions once I read it, but
Exactly.
yeah, seems straightforward right now.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I think Susanna knows two people because I had asked her about that previously for
Great,
something. And she was like, I know somebody local and I know somebody in LA. It just depends
love it.
budget and what we're looking at and if they're interested. So,
Sweet. I'm excited to read it.
yeah, that just means I have to actually sit down and fucking finish it. I
You
did
know how
have one
that
of those
goes.
moments earlier today where, like, I was struggling coming up with a scene that fulfilled the needs for I got really into reading Mamet like last week or the week before, and he's always pounding on like the super objective of scenes and accomplishing what you
Yeah.
need to within that. And so I knew what I needed to achieve in a scene and could not fucking figure out how to do it. And then that moment that it all clicked, I'm sitting at the table with the cafe and I'm go, yes! And everyone's like, what the fuck?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Mammoth will do that to you.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh. But yeah. So that's about it.
Cool.
Covered a lot of
I'm
ground in
excited.
30 minutes.
Yes.
But yeah.
Well, it
Oh,
probably helps that you've been pushing this too. So you're like you're ready to have a conversation about it. It's good. You came prepared.
yeah. Oh, I'm reading off of a a document that I typed up earlier today.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because otherwise I'd be a rambling man and not the cool
Mhm.
musical one. Crowdfunding and building market for that. This is part of that. I don't know how much I've talked to you guys about all of this beforehand, but I'm functioning or making these function as a sort of how to watch us pull off this shit, get the inspiration to pull off your shit, and then also with the human connection aspect to it, to where we can all see everyone's lovely personalities behind the scene. Besides meeting the crew and the technical specialist and talking a bit about their skills and backgrounds and what they do, I'm also going to do like some location scouting where some of us get together, go out and visit these locations. A person, I won't name which one it is, volunteered to go to a strip club for the first time. A lady person. I don't want to say a female because I should put on a fucking fedora and shave everything except for my neck if I start calling people females. Volunteered to go to a strip club for the first time and write about that experience. or do a vodcast about it, which I think would be fucking great just for their charisma.
That reminds me of a side note. If you ever want to do an episode of one of these, that's crazy hospital stories. I do have a couple friends that are also nurses, aside from you, that potentially be a fun episode.
Oh yeah. Wait till you guys read the opening scene. You can thank Caitlin for the image. It's
Love it.
it's a fucking chef's kiss opening shot. But yeah, I think that covered everything we need to cover. Oh yeah, with all of this, I'll release it and sort of figure out tiers. One of the tiers that I think I have in mind for backing support is taking the videos of the big four fucking tearing my script apart and making me cry, except for the crying part. I will swallow my pride and let the world see me obliterated by people who are geniuses.
I think that's so fun though, getting to see this level of behind the scenes though. Like I think that's really
Yeah.
cool. That's a really cool way to go
You're
about it. Yeah, I think that's gonna be fun to watch.
Yeah.
already
Yeah.
prepping for the behind the scenes documentary. You're already ready.
Yeah, exactly. I don't have to pay for a budget for a behind the scenes documentary.
Yeah, you're like already doing it. It's fine.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh man, that's funny. Yeah, I have some hospital stories. I have a couple funny, awkward strip club stories. So, you know,
There's a lot of as I was talking about with the big four before, there's a lot of the juxtapositions of the guy who tried to do everything right, this almost neat and tidy life, the organized, sort of detached clinical aspect, and then the like cold, gritty, fetishistic, not cold, but like the underground fetishistic type of hedonism life of trying to achieve all of your goals through any means necessary ambition. And that just, I think that dynamic's going to play out super fucking well. But yeah, on that, I will let you guys get back to your real lives.
sounds good. Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah,
Oh,
thank you for having me.
absolutely. Thank you guys for coming along on this journey. And I am so fucking excited to see what we all come up with at the end of it all. Get hyped.
Yeah.
Are you gonna have an end title card to this? So we just be like, oh, throw it to the title card. It's just awkward.
I'm going to make a title card that just says Toodles because I say that all the time and people look at me like I'm insane. So,
Okay.
Yeah, I can tell you when we're not recording where that hospital scene is.
oh God, what if I work there?
No, it's not
Okay.
it's not a real.
Oh, okay, cool. Oh, but yeah, I will cut the video off now. Toodles.